This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
What's in the basket?
Welcome back to the Graveyard Club. Today starts our Frank Henenlotter takeover. If you don't know who he is, he brought us Basket Case and Frankenhooker. In this series I want to dive into his only 6 feature films and discuss them, and also why I think he's underrated. We've already reviewed the cult classic original from 1982, so watch that one first to start, but today we're going to talk about its infamous sequels. Today we're going to talk about Basket Case 2 and 3. I hope you enjoy.
I am Dracula.
So the second film pretty much picks up right after the first one, which is funny because it's made 10 years after. It's made in the 90s, and you can feel it, whereas in the film it takes place literally the night after. And just a quick recap if people haven't seen the first one. It's about 2 brothers. One's like a little monster and they were attached at the hip when they were younger, and doctors obviously took them apart. And the first film is about them going on their revenge and killing all the doctors. So yeah, them 2 fight at the end and end up throwing each other outside a New York City apartment, a hotel. And at the end of the first film they're meant to be dead. So it's weird in this first one, in the second one it picks up right after. We're introduced to new characters. One, Granny Ruth, played by Anne Ross. She was a jazz singer back in the day, apparently, and she runs a house of freaks, and they're basically people with different deformities and all this type of stuff. So like it suits Belial down to the ground. So when Belial and Duane are in hospital, they try to escape. They kill a guard on the way out, and they run into Granny Ruth and our minions pretty much. And they basically go with them, like they don't get kidnapped or anything like that. They go with Granny Ruth, and they're introduced then to the House of Freaks. And for people who may know that the designs on these people is fucking crazy. Like there's one that looks like a rat, there's one that has piano tea and sings an opera. It's very good, like. But what's interesting about this one, Belial has a girlfriend. He gets introduced to basically a girl version of himself. So that plays a big part, especially in the third one. Like. And what I love about this film, this is what I'm saying about Frank Henenlotter, like fucking references all day long. Like this is a complete reference to Todd Browning's Freaks from 1930s. Like. So I thought that was pretty good. But this film is basically, so like Duane and Belial are basically fugitives. They're on the run. They're serial killers, basically. So there's these set of reporters now that are after them, and one by one they're gone. So it's a girl reporter, and I don't know if it's our boyfriend or whatever the fuck, but like he tags along and enters this house, and you know too well it doesn't go well. But it is an interesting scene when he dies. He comes in with a big flashing camera, and all the freaks that are in Granny Ruth's house they're all living up in the attic. The crazy scene. So he comes up and he's flashing the cameras, he's taking pictures, this and that, and then eventually the freaks get him, and Belial pops out and kills him, while one of the freaks is flashing the camera. So like all you're seeing is the flashing while he's getting killed by Belial. It's actually a great scene. But yeah, like there's a few good scenes in this one. Like it's crazy, like the difference between this one and the first one in terms of tone. Now I've seen in interviews, especially on Deluxe Edition, they've done an interview with Kevin Van Hendrich. He's the person who played Dwayne Bradley, and there was a question asked about what his opinion was on the different tones between the first one and the other two, because if you're a fan of the series, you know too well the first one has a real, don't know, like a fucking freaky tone. It's not so light-hearted like the other ones. Like, you could almost call Basket Case 2 and 3 horror comedy, where the first one was, like, I don't know, it was probably in terms of budget, where you couldn't make it so funny or light-hearted, like, where it came off real fucking freaky, like, especially the screams from Belial. Like, there was no CG, there was even stop motion in that original, like. But like I said, you definitely need to check out the first review before you start listening into these other ones, like, because Frank Henenlotter, he's like, he definitely was an indie director. Like, he never really got a big break. Now he has got his props off big directors like James Gunn, and Basket Case is more popular now than probably ever was. Like, loads of people are talking about, like, in fairness. So I don't know, like, it'd be and maybe a bit more work, like, but he's only 6 films. That's why I wanted to start the series. So I've already, and then we've another 3 to do as well, and I'm looking forward to watching them. I haven't seen them all. There's like an underlying story going on with Duane in this film, where it is if he's really a freak or not. So he's explaining to Granny Ruth's daughter that he doesn't belong here, and neither does she, and she's basically telling him that she belongs there, and he does as well. So I don't know if there's like a sort of underlying story that's going on here. I picked up on it, and basically saying is like, Duane really a freak or not, which is interesting. Towards the end of the film, he's kind of like, he wants to run away with this girl. He thinks she's normal, but she does actually end up turning out to be a freak, which is a good scene. There's great scenes in this one, like when they go out after the sheriff, they meet him in like a bar, and it's just Duane there, and if you can't really notice when you first watch it, but if you watch it the second time, you would notice it. Everyone else in the bar is covered in masks. Even the barman, the fellas pouring the drinks, everyone's sitting at the bar, people sitting at the tables, they're all wearing masks. You wouldn't really notice it the first time. The fucking great scene. And they end up spooking the sheriff. I'm gonna call him sheriff. I actually forget what his fucking name was, but he was the big fucking lieutenant that was over the reporters, like. And yeah, Belial ends up getting him in the end. But that was a great scene as well, I have to admit. So basically, towards the end of the film, as I said, he finds out that the girl that he fancies in the film is a freak, and he freaks out. He actually pushes her out of the window and kills her. So this is what I'm saying. Like, is he a freak at the end of the day? Like, and he runs into Belial, grabs him, and ends up sewing him back on. In a graphic scene, it's another callback to the original, but it is a graphic scene, and he sews him back on, and that's how that story ends. So if you compare it to the first one, I'll be honest, I'll always prefer the original. I have the 3 of them on Blu-ray, and seeing them in high definition is just fucking glorious. Like, I recommend anyone that are interested to start with Basket Case and get them in Blu-ray. They're fucking great. But yeah, there's just something about the first one that I do love. But looking back now, before I've done the reviews, I'm very surprised with Basket Case 2. That was a very well made movie, I have to admit. Like, it is obviously 10 times better made than the original, but I don't know, I actually forgot how fucking good it was. Like, I know the acting is real cheesy and all that, but like the effects and all was really fucking good. So if you're still listening, I'd like to know what your thoughts on the second one was. We're gonna go in now shortly to talk about the third one, but I did enjoy it. It's crazy to think Frank Henenlotter didn't even want to make a sequel to Basket Case, but I suppose the film industry is a tough fucking game, and he needed a new project to fucking get going. So Basket Case probably made sense for him. But here, before we go into talking about the third one, Dee's not here with us today, but I'm gonna let her now talk about a good sponsor of ours. You heard us talking about it before. You know it. You love it. CBD. Fucking Sunday scares. Let's get into it.
Life is scary when you wake up and realise that you texted your ex a you up text. Yeah, we all deal with those Sunday scaries. The oh shit, stressful, nervous, can't sleep, dread feelings that hit you on a Sunday evening when you're thinking about work or school or just life for tomorrow. Unfortunately, you can feel that same pit in your stomach any day of the week. Sunday scary CBD gummies were made to defeat the crap life throws at us. These are the perfect CBD gummies for professionals on the grind, super moms, students, party animals, regretful drunk sexters, and everybody in between. I am a terrible sleeper. My scaries tend to hit me at night time, so I end up spending precious noon hours staring at the ceiling questioning life. So I'm always looking for new ways to get better sleep. Sunday scary CBD gummies help me decompress, clear my mind and fall asleep so I can wake up like a fully functioning human being. We all have the right to live scare-free. So whether you need to take the edge off, calm your mind, sleep better, or just chill, take 2 CBD gummies every day to keep those scaries away. Let me save you with our 10% discount. Visit sundayscaries.com and use our promo code GRAVEYARD. That's GRAVEYARD, all capital letters, for 10% off at sundayscaries.com.
Now for basket case 3, Frank Henenlotter did come out and say this was rushed and it's not what he envisioned. And you can tell because it's almost like a retelling of part 2. This picks up again right after the second one. Duane is in care after they've removed Belial from him. And in this film, Belial's girlfriend is now pregnant. So straight away, it's rehashing from the second one a lot. At least it's moving forward in a little bit. So they go to their uncle's house, like Granny Ruth's brother, I'm assuming. And instead of the reporters this time around that's trying to get Duane and Bradley, it's the police. So again, it's the same sort of story where it's the freaks against the reporters. This time it's against the police. And again, it's typical basket case 2. There's great scenes. The practical effects is all there. It's great. But it kind of repeats itself, I'll be honest with you. The police end up kidnapping Belial's babies. And there's a great scene towards the end of it where Belial turns into a transformer and takes them all out. So I did like that. But I did read somewhere that like 13 pages of this film was removed from the production studios that he was working with at the time because they wanted it less gory. Now, I really think that hurt the film. 13 pages to take out of a film is a fucking lot. So I would have loved to see an uncut version, to see an untouched version without the studio coming in. Like the amount of films out there that the studios have came in and ruined. Like if you've been keeping up with the channel, we've been talking about the Exorcist films, and Exorcist 3, the one that you see now, even if you hear the director's cut, it's not actually the director's cut. The original cut of that film is now lost, and it was meant to be 10 times better. There wasn't no, like, if you remember that review I was talking about, there was a rushed exorcism towards at the end of it, like there was no need for it. In the original Legion book, there was no exorcism. So again, it was the studios coming in, and people know about the prequels as well. But yeah, I'd say it's the same thing with this. 13 pages seems a fucking lot. But yeah, a gruesome scene with the babies getting born. Belial's girlfriend is called Eve, if people don't know. She's one of the freaks. Even talking about a little bit of trivia about the second one that I forgot to touch on. When they were making the freaks, they wanted to make sure that they weren't offensive. They weren't like mimicking real life disformities. So that's why they look so cartoony in the film. And throughout these 2 films, you can notice that there's a bit of CGI being used with Belial. So that's interesting, like compared to the original film where it was pure, just practical effect. Do you know what I mean? And it's mad, like he never intended to make a sequel to Basket Case. But I don't know. I suppose the money talks, like, and the original title of it was House of Freaks. I find that's very interesting, like. But yeah, Basket Case 3. I'll be honest with you, it's not as good as the second one, but it is nice. It's a fun film. And I don't know what it is. The Blu-ray DVD that I have, the third one doesn't look as good as the first two. It's almost like it's not Blu-ray. I'm playing it like on DVD, and the first two look fucking great. But yeah, Belial captures the babies. The police get the bullet. In terms of Duane, this is what I don't get. So the first film, in the second film, when he's with Granny Ruth, he wants to leave the house. He doesn't want anything to do with the freaks. And by the end of the second film, he comes back and helps them out. So again, in this third one, it happens again. He wants to leave the house, like he's a prisoner, but comes back to help him at the end. So I don't know, is there an underlying story where is Duane a freak? I'd love to ask Kevin Van Henrik that question. I'll be honest. But yeah, if people want to leave a link in the description of the deluxe edition interview with Ryan Casey, they interviewed him and they asked some interest. I put up a question kind of thing on Instagram the other day, and I got some questions regarding this film. So D asks, what would you envision for a fourth basket case? And I'll be honest with you, I'd say just remake the fucking thing. Start again, maybe take the freaks out of it. Maybe, I don't know, add some freaks into it, but start again, new technology, Belial, Duane, have the same sort of story where you go after the doctors again. I think that would be a good idea for a fourth film. Unless they were continuing on with the story with the freaks and Granny Ruth. That could be interesting as well. But yeah, if I was in charge of making the fourth film, I would try and make it practical effects as much as I could. Now, Kevin Van Henrik did mention in the Deluxe Edition interview that he could envision Belial being fully CGI, and that could work. Do you know what I mean? It'd probably be a lot more. You could probably get a lot more out of him if he was fully CGI. But I don't know. I think the charm of the Basket Case series was that the practical effects were really good. I'm pretty sure Frank Henenlotter spent a lot of the budget on them gory effects. So I'll be honest with you, that's what I like. Casey asked, "What was my favourite kill?" And I'm assuming the whole series. I love when that fucking reporter detective fella dies in the second one, where Duane meets him for a drink at that bar, but the entire bar is full of freaks, and he gets pushed out the back, and Belial is waiting for him there. I think that's a great scene. I honestly, I have that Blu-ray set since I'm about 12 or 13, and I forgot how good the second one was. I really enjoyed it. So, Frank Henenlotter is a film historian, and from the outside in, you're looking at these films thinking they're trashy, they're sleazy, but this fella knows his films. The Basket Case films are direct reference to Todd Browning's Freaks, all the way down to, if anyone's seen that original film from the 30s, the girl at the end gets turned into a freak, and she's like a half human, half chicken. And one of the freaks says the exact same line as I think Duane says to the reporter from the second one when she gets turned into a freak. So this man knows his fucking films. I've seen I've actually recently watched a good interview with him. There's an American rapper called R.A. the Rugged Man, and he has a podcast show, and he actually produced the film Bad Biology with Frank Henenlotter. Frank Henenlotter directed it, and that was his last film. It's interesting. I was reading after Basket Case 3, it was such a disappointment. It was a bad reaction. It flopped. Whatever the fuck. It wasn't originally what he wanted. He took a big long break. I think Basket Case 3 came out in 1991, and the film that came out after was Bad Biology in 2008. So he took a long break from filmmaking. But yeah, I was recently seeing an interview with him, and he just knows his stuff. I'm into my Hammer films, and he says one of his favourite sci-fi films is The Quartermass and the Pit, and that's a Hammer film. So he knows the stuff. Like, he would have grown up in old school New York, going to them sleazy kind of theaters, watching exploitation films and all. You know, people smoking and fucking having sex in the cinema and all this type of stuff, like mad stuff. Like, I say he would have seen everything. But yeah, you can just tell. Like, if I'd recommend you watching his interviews. Like, I was shocked to see how well he knew his fucking films. You wouldn't think it, like. But yeah, it's a shame. He's 6 feature films. He's the 3 Basque Case films, and then the ones that we're going to be talking about very soon is Brain Damage, Frankenhooker, and Bad Biology. They're the only ones that people can watch. I think he has some short films or whatever, but they're the ones to be watching. And I'll be honest with you, they're on me Amazon fucking basket, and I'm about to buy them, like, on Blu-ray. Some questions.
Hey guys, Matt coming at you from The Real Drunks. Hey, if you're into movies, booze, craft beers, and just shooting the shit with your friends, join myself, Jake, and Alyssa on The Real Drunks on the Deluxe Edition Network and anywhere you get your podcast from. That's The Real Drunks, REEL, The Real Drunks. Check us out.
That was The Real Drunks. They are a podcast on the Deluxe Edition Network. And every month we do Podcast of the Month on the network. So for the month of December, we have the Deluxe Edition podcast with Casey and Ray. And we have Steve and Crypto Show. Make sure you're checking them out. Links in the description. Checking them out. We're also part of that network, the Graveyard Club. If you're looking for a place, a hub for a number of podcasts, we have everything over there: movies, relationships, pop culture, horror, paranormal. We have everything over there. Crime, everything. We have everything over there. So I'm going to leave a link to the description below to the website. And we've also started blogs over there. And the very first blog is one I've done myself on Frank Henenlotter. So make sure you're checking them out. I want a few eyes on that blog, because it's good. Like, he's an interesting fella. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, he's an interesting fella. Like, people should know how interesting he is and how talented he is, in my opinion. You know. But yeah, if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you. Before we get into the ratings and stuff, I appreciate everyone that's been subscribing. We're currently only on Spotify and YouTube. So if you can leave us a rating and follow over there on Spotify, I'd appreciate it. And commenting, liking the video, anything you can do on YouTube really helps. YouTube is a big grind. I'm sure a lot of you know it's a big fucking grind. So we're trying to get that going. And yeah, leave a like if you're ready for the rest of the films from Frank Henenlotter. Like, I've been wondering now, like, in this day and age, what would a Basket Case remake or a fourth movie would look like? I'm pretty sure he'd, like, from hearing them interviews, I'm pretty sure Frank Henenlotter would be up for making it. I think he's trying to find the funding for it, which is the problem. Like, it's a tough hell fucking business, I say, the filmmaking, you know. That's what, like, in the interview I was watching, he was kind of taken back that people saying he was legendary, and like, if he's legendary, why he has no work. Like, it's mad. Like, in a world where Marvel directors get paid millions for copy and pasting the same films that came out 10 years prior, these indie directors that actually have talent and they want to set out and make something different, they don't get the recognition. Like, I don't understand. Like, especially in the horror kind of genre, that's where the talent is. Like, you wouldn't have the movies now without the horror directors. Oh yeah, my personal opinion: Terence Fisher, James Whale, Todd Browning, like, the list goes on. Horror directors is what make fucking cinema, I think. I know that's a bleeding fanboy fucking thing to say, but I'll be honest with you, I do agree with it. And I put Frank Henenlotter in that group. I'll be honest with you. He makes my top 10 list, director. Honest to God. And just before I get into the ratings and reviews, I just want to say we're on Patreon right now, and it's $3 measly before you start fucking getting hasty. $3 a month. Now, the content is a bit slack over there, but I promise you we're going to be adding VODs to the podcasts. That's going to be the first place we're going to be having them. So it'll be a good place. The Patreons get to discuss, they get to pick what we talk about, what we review. it'll be a good community over there, and you'll get to see everything first, the unedited podcasts, and it's going to be good. So in the new year, I'm definitely going to be thinking about fucking boosting the content up over there. So I appreciate anyone that's been checking out them links. The Deluxe Edition Network site, check them all out. You won't regret. Great fucking place, guys. Now, if I'm talking about fucking reviews and rankings, I prefer the second one to the third one, 100%. It's well made. Even though the third one carries on, you get to see a few more freaks. It's not as good as the second one. It's not as original. As I said earlier on, it's almost like a rehash, I think, of the second one, except it's police officers instead of the reporters. You know, you can definitely tell it was rushed and it wasn't what he intended. So I'll be honest with you, the second one stacks up right against the fucking first one. It's different, and it'd be interesting. Like, if there was a fourth one, would he continue in that horror comedy direction, or would they try make it more of a straightforward horror, which what I thought they were trying with the first one? I'm not sure. The first one has some fucking freaky scenes, man. Like that fucking rape scene at the end with your one Sharon, Duane's first love. That was a fucking freaky scene, man. And actually, this only had to pop into my head. If I remember in the second one, when Duane he again, like I was talking about, like, he wants to leave the house, so he grabs Belial and he brings him out to the shed, and he's basically telling Belial that he's gonna leave and Belial can stay here and he's better off here and Duane needs to go. And Belial starts laughing at him, and it must be a practical effect. It's literally just a puppet and it's a real life face, and Belial is laughing at him. It's so fucking creepy, but it's funny at the same time. I fucking love it. I actually forgot to mention that. So if you made it this far, I just want to say thanks for watching. This is the fourth episode in our Frank Henenlotter takeover. Leave a like, please leave a like if you want to see more. Our next one is going to be on brain damage, and he made this right after the first one, so it's another interesting film. Frank Henenlotter always claimed he never made horror films and they were more exploitation films. I'll be honest with you, that's up for debate, where a lot of them were horror comedies, but they had elements of exploitation. There is one that's 100% exploitation, and we'll be talking about that later on. But keep an eye out for the brain damage one. And if you've been looking at my Instagram, there's a Hunchback of Notre Dame review coming, and there's a giveaway coming. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. But check the links below in the description. Please check out the blog that I've done on Frank Henenlotter. It's on the Deluxe Edition website right now. Give it a little read. There's going to be more blogs coming on by different people, different podcasts. So keep an eye. Like that's a very interesting idea, I think. Spices up the website a bit more, I think. So yeah, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Appreciate everyone that's been fucking liking the videos. Honest to God, the videos have been doing serious lately. The Bride of Dracula is on its way to hitting 6,000 views. I can't fucking get over it. But yeah, for the people who've been enjoying the Exorcist reviews, we're gonna get to them. As I said, I'm gonna skip the second one. So the only ones that we really have left to talk about is the prequels, and that's gonna be a double episode like this one as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. I'd rather I'm after getting a taste now for Frank Henenlotter. Like, you know what I mean? He has me heart now. So yeah, keep an eye out on them. We will finish them hopefully before Christmas. And I'm gonna been doing like a kind of a bulk kind of recording, like, so we can have a few over the Christmas to upload. So hopefully over the Christmas to be a few more steadier uploads coming. So yeah, keep an eye on the Spotify, the YouTube. If you're on the go, listen on Spotify if you can, and you can sit down and relax, watch the YouTube, because I put a bit of time and effort into the videos. But appreciate anyone that's been watching. Shout out Casey, shout out everyone that's on the Deluxe Edition network, and I'll see you in the next one. Good luck.
Listen up, everyone. Frederick's getting a little too hyper, and I can't find anything on the radio. And since we've got such a long way to go, how about it, everyone?
alive! I am Dracula.